simply refusing to put him on the ballot on the ground that that Secretary of State is also an originalist and thinks that, if you weren't born on the land of the United States, then you just can't run. At that point, somebody would have to sue them, whether it's Cruz himself as the nominee, if that's what we've got, or the Republican National Committee. There's no way to avoid an issue like that going to the Supreme Court. And the irony is that the liberals on the court, assuming they all voted according to principle as opposed to politics, and it isn't always that way. But the liberals on the court, the activists, would go with Cruz, and the originalists, if they were true to their position, like Scalia, would vote against him.
Because Scalia, we understand, and you're the expert, looks back for dictionaries from the period of the late 18th century to try to find out what words meant to the founding fathers. So natural born to him would mean what they meant by it, and it wouldn't matter what Ted Cruz or someone today thought it meant. It was what the people who signed the document thought it meant.
Exactly, and it wouldn't matter what Congress had said about the naturalization process in 1934 or 1940 or 1977. They believed in a kind of natural law, and it was unchanging. And I think one of the things that's dangerous about somebody like President Cruz, it kind of hurts me to say that, but President Cruz would believe that the Supreme Court doesn't really have much to do with the meaning of the Constitution. He says, he said that he doesn't think it's binding, so it would be the Constitution according to Cruz.
Yes, that's right.
You approach it the way you have to make the results come out the way you want.
He's questioned the whole notion of judicial review. And I wonder, though, just get back to like Alan Grayson. He's somewhat of a wild guy, but he knows what he's doing, I think, on this one. And he's very liberal, and he's from Florida, and he's talked about suing. Who would have standing to challenge a presidential candidate?
His opponent would have standing. So whoever the Democratic nominee is, or the Democratic National Committee would probably have standing. But I don't think they'd want to do that, because that would make them look small. I think Alan Grayson believes he has standing. I don't really quite see how he's injured. But the example I gave is a clear one where there would be no standing problem. If there is an official in any of the 50 states who says, I don't think you're a natural-born citizen, you got to sue me if you want to be on the ballot. Well, then whoever's being kept off the ballot would have standing. And sometimes, courts duck issues because they're political hot potatoes. But I can't imagine the courts ducking an issue about whether the nominee of one of our great political parties can be kept off the ballot in a state.
Well, let's see what Antonin Scalia and his fellows are going to say after hearing you tonight and hearing how this discussion has percolated up. Thank you very much, Professor LaurenceTribe at Harvard University Law School. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's a critical point. Let's go right now to Donald Trump, who's in the spin room.
A lot of people think this is my best debate. I don't know. I really don't. I don't care.
Explain the fact that Iowans and South Carolinians know what New York values are, or do you think that he was pandering?
I don't know if he knows what New York values are, but I mentioned a couple of things. Number one, Fox is in New York. Fox tends to be on the conservative. And I mentioned the great name of William F. Buckley, who was a very proud New Yorker. Plenty of conservatives in New York. And of course, if you look at